No room at the inn. It's a situation all hotels are facing.
We sell out almost every night.
But for Deborah Pineda, it was even harder for her to find a hotel room when her home needed renovations, simply because she is a Big Spring resident.
I told them at work that I wanted to get a room, and they had told me, no, you're not going to be able to.
Yes, I was kind of like very anxious because what are we going to do? We need to fix the house.
Lucky for Pineda, she was able to find a room in town. However, her co-workers were not so lucky.
They were not willing to rent rooms. One, seemed like the residents took advantage of the hotel.
It's a policy that is in place at the Plaza Inn. We called both the Best Western and Hampton Inn yesterday, and both said they do not rent rooms to locals because of past complaints of drug activity and trashed rooms. However, when we talked to the Hampton Inn today, they said no such policy exists.
We do rent them the room with a deposit. We don't just judge the people from, just Big Spring address. We judge them with their personality, how they dress up. If they are decent enough to not harm our hotel, then we do rent it to them.
We did find hotels that do rent to locals.
We don't do that. We still, take them in and stuff.
They don't realize that there may be other things going on, like a water heater that busted, or maybe their electricity's been turned off for a night.
With such policies in place, it looks to be slim pickings for locals. With your eye on Big Spring, I'm Tatum Guinn, CBS 7 News.
Students here at the Southwest Collegiate Institute of the Deaf say there's really no language barrier with their haunted house because being scared is just a human reaction.
Creepy music. The sounds of doom. Shrilling screams. All things you expect to hear at a haunted house. And it's all elements deaf students at SWID have in their haunted house.
We really empowered the students to get creative. They came up with their own ideas to help this.
The students communicate with each other with flashing lights and lead their groups with gestures.
There are small challenges for them trying to communicate with us, and we're trying to communicate back with them, but I don't think we would call it a barrier. Yeah, there's really nothing different except that we can't hear.
Ronnie Sandoval, the Adventure Club sponsor, says there are really no limits when putting the haunted house together.
They say, can we do this? Can we do that? And some of them think we can't. I'm like, well, why not? Don't just leave your dreams by the wayside. If you're dreaming it, try to reach for it. Well, I wanted to get the experience setting up this haunted house, and it's a good experience for other students too.
Being creative and planning for the haunted house are experiences the students will be able to take with them long after the last fright.
A percentage of all the funds raised here at the haunted house will go towards the nonprofit Toys for Tots. Reporting with your eye on Big Spring, I'm Tatum Guinn for CBS 7 News.
The school day got off to a rough start here at Big Spring High School as a bomb threat was called into the police department. Although it turned out fake, it has one thing on the top of everyone's minds: student safety. As soon as Big Spring school officials learned of a bomb threat at the high school, they sprung into action.
We chose to have a fire drill so we get the kids out of the building, and that would allow the PD and some of our school staff to go through the specific area.
However, luck was on their side as the threat turned out to be a hoax.
And it was determined that it was a hoax, and then after a period of time, the kids were allowed to go back in the building.
The school day did resume as normal. As the kids went back to class, administrators made some changes to their security measures. Details the district keeps private for the students' safety.
Today we made a change on something. I'm not going to go into detail what it was. So we're always open for new ways of trying to secure the buildings even better.
Farrell says security is a topic that is continually discussed.
Any new issues that may have popped up, if they need to be addressed, or maybe we need to lock this place down differently or the same way, then that's what we do. When we built our 4 brand new elementaries, security was the first thing on our mind. How were we going to secure the building?
At the new elementary schools here in Big Spring, you can't just simply walk in and go into the school. You must first go through the office to gain access inside.
With the protocols the district has in place now, Farrell says they feel prepared if an emergency situation were to occur.
You can do the best you can do with what you have. And we hope that's good enough.
With your eye on Big Spring, Tatum Guinn, CBS 7 News. As the tragedy in Connecticut played out on television, businessman Dale Pittman could not believe his eyes.
I was at the house, and at first I just heard about a shooting at a school, and then the longer I watched it, and the numbers kept growing.
He says there are no words to describe the sorrow he felt for the 26 families that lost a loved one that day.
It just broke my heart, and I cannot begin to imagine what those parents are going through.
That's why he has decided to send a piece of West Texas to Connecticut.
It's just been impressed upon my heart for the citizens of Big Spring and even West Texas. They have such a loving and caring heart that I felt like that if we could get cards together.
And he's encouraging all of West Texas to join him.
No matter how many miles there is between Big Spring, Texas and Newtown, Connecticut, we can send a piece of West Texas hospitality.
Although he may never meet who receives a card, someone in Connecticut will know what it's like to receive a piece of love all the way from West Texas.
Folks that's going through this tragedy would have something tangible to where they could read and reread in the days ahead to hopefully bring a little light to their lives in this dark hour.
With your eye on Big Spring, Tatum Guinn, CBS 7 News.
A group of Big Spring residents have made it their mission to educate the public on why they should vote against 4B.
You see the first of them as you drive into town, and more scattered throughout the city. Blue signs saying to vote against a 4B corporation. Business owner Larry McClellan has thrown his support behind the 4A corporation.
I think when you take and go from a 4A to a 4B, you're taking the vision out.
McClellan and a group of residents have come together making signs and buttons to educate the public. And McClellan says their efforts have worked.
Everyone looks at them and asks, what's that for? And it gives the people that's wearing that a chance to explain how important the 4A is to Big Spring.
Cotton Mize has lived in Big Spring his entire life and has even served as mayor of Big Spring. He hasn't made signs, but open up the Big Spring Herald and you'll see that he's in support of a 4B corporation. He says he's raised awareness by word of mouth and newspaper ads.
I just can't see why anybody in their right mind cannot go with B if it'll do everything A will do.
Although both men have differing political views, both agree that the public needs to be educated about a 4A and 4B corporation before they head out to the polls tomorrow.
And to me, if people would go for Proposition 1, it would be a move in the right direction.
I think our best shot in the future to have a Big Spring that we want to call home. I think this is a very important vote for our future.
Both men say they'll fight for their causes to better Big Spring until the polls close tomorrow night.
For a complete look at all the polling locations here in Big Spring, you can go to our website at cbs7.com. Reporting with your eye on Big Spring, I'm Tatum Guinn, CBS 7 News.